Welcome to Kingdom Hearts. Developed by Square Enix, formerly Squaresoft, and released for the Sony Playstation 2 in 2002. Do I even really need to say more about Kingdom Hearts? It's one of the most beloved franchises of the past 15 plus years, combining the magic of Disney with the drama of Final Fantasy. And it is a sheer honor to be playing this for you all today. Now before we begin... Oh, hold on, cutscene. Wait, don't do that. So before we begin in earnest, I can assume that you have a couple of questions for me. First and foremost, why is this the PlayStation 2 version? Hasn't this game been re-released like 5 times already? And you're right. And the reason is simple. I don't own any of those versions. So, this is what we're just going to start with. Now, as you know, Disney is, shall we say, a little protective of their IPs, and so they don't really like people showing the intro cutscenes, or cinematics, I should say, for these games. I mean, even though I am in my right to do so, it's not like I own Disney or anything, but, you know, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and I'm not, so we're gonna play nice, and for those of you on Twitch, you're gonna be able to enjoy this. For those of you on YouTube, I'm going to cut this part out. Sorry, that's just how it goes. But let's select the difficulty level, Expert. And we'll turn on vibrations. Let us begin. This is Kingdom Hearts. Alright, so this is our unskippable tutorial sequence. It's just explaining how to move. Fairly self-explanatory. Okay, so this is a very important choice. This will determine Sora's growth. You have 3 choices here. Hold on, let me get this stupid text box out of the way. You have the sword, the shield, and the staff. Your choice here will determine his build. It will determine his base stats, how he levels up, in terms of what he specializes in, and it will determine his ability list. Abilities will be explained later. I think surprising no one based upon my name, I'm going to choose the shield. Of course, one cannot take without giving up an exchange. So I think I will give up the sword. Alright, so this is going to be our basic combat tutorial. Combat is kind of a mixture between, this is just explaining the HP and MP gauges. But combat is kind of a mix between the more action time oriented combat of something like Secret of Mana with the standard kind of menu-based selection of Final Fantasy, or the mainline Final Fantasy games. Gain experience by defeating enemies, level up. Enemies will also drop prizes when you defeat them. These green balls will replenish your HP when you pick them up. This is explaining the ability to lock onto targets. Generally, you'll auto-lock onto a target, shown by the orange crosshair, when you're close to an enemy. However, you can manually select a target to lock onto by pushing R1. This will keep the camera's focus locked on them while you move around. You can switch targets by pushing L2 or R2. You'll also disengage the lock-on whenever your target... Yeah, so far combat is pretty straightforward, but it's gonna get more advanced real quick. So don't worry about that. Huh, a door. Alright, so this section explains our field commands, what we can do when we're out of combat. You can change your commands by pushing up or down on the D-pad. Yep, that is correct, Professor Mitchell. I have not said the D word yet. But don't worry, just give me some time. It won't take long with this game. Ooh, treasure. So yeah, your bottom command will be all of your various field actions, such as examine, or in this case, open. Ah, pushing stuff. A skill that we use maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the whole game. These blue prize boxes contain consumable items. We got a potion, which we can use with the items command. Yeah, this is just showing us that we could switch lock-on targets. Oh, we opened the door. That was really fast. I guess the project's over. Nah, that's not how it works. That'd be a really short game if that was the case. This is mentioning the first-person view, which you can access by pushing select. You will probably use it a grand total of this once, and then you will promptly forget about it because it's never required for anything else in the game. Okay, so you'll be asked 3 questions, one from each person. You might recognize these characters if you're familiar with Final Fantasy. This is Tidus from Final Fantasy X. I almost said 12, that is incorrect. What are you so afraid of? This is Selphie from Final Fantasy VIII. And this is Wakka from Final Fantasy X. Okay, so the game does a really bad job of explaining what this is about, but this determines your experience growth. There are 3 possible results. Your journey begins at day, your journey begins at midday, or your journey begins at night. If your journey begins at day, up until about level 40, you will need proportionately less experience to level up. Once you get past level 40, though, you will need proportionately more experience to level up. At night, it's opposite. You need more experience to level up until about level 40, and then you need less experience to level up after level 40. If you choose midday, then you'll have a normal amount of experience needed to level up throughout the whole game. There's a bunch of combinations you can choose that will determine what you get, but the easiest way to do this is, if you want your journey to start at day, just pick all of the top answers, pick all of the middle answers if you want midday, and pick all of the bottom answers if you want dusk. Or night, rather. That was just telling us about the start button, which allows us to open the menu when we're not in combat and simply pauses the game when we're in combat, which we're about to be right now. So these little guys are called shadows. They're your standard fodder enemy in this game. Just a few quick swings of your weapon and you'll take care of them, no problem. They are able to bleed into the ground, like just right there, where they're invincible to attack, but it's generally just more of a nuisance than anything else. Just gotta mop up. I think there's one more. Nope, that's it. Nothing to it. Ooh, shining light. Well, you always approach shiny lights. That's how it works in video games. This is a save point. Save points will recover your HP and MP when you touch them, and enable you to save the game. It's important that you remember this, because you cannot save from the menu anywhere, so you'll need to use a save point if you want to stop and take a break. This is Awakening. Alright. Okay. Let's check the menu real fast. So let's see, we have a potion. It's your standard, nondescript HP recovery item. It restores 30 HP, and it can be used either in combat or from the menu. So these 3 slots are our item slots. These are the only items that we'll be able to access when we're in the middle of a fight. So right now we've only got 1 potion to use, so we better make it count. Let's see, we're currently equipped with a Dream Shield. We have no abilities, which we'll explain later. Can't do anything with that. Here's our status. And we can configure some game settings, but I think everything is just the way I like it, so let's go. Oh, this staircase will fade behind you once you go too far out, so make sure you save before you head on up. This is our first boss, Darkseid. So Darkseid only has 2 attacks. It will plunge its fist into the ground, summoning the little shadows from it, which we can attack. By the way, you can actually climb his arms and strike at his head. Doing this will earn you tech points. Tech points are special extra experience points that you can gain by performing certain actions in combat, such as striking enemies in specific weak spots, or deflecting their attacks/projectiles. They will help you level up faster, so it is a good idea to try to learn how to use them as quickly as possible. Sora's strength went up. Let's see, where's the other shadow? Its second attack is that it will fire these laser blasts from its chest. You can actually deflect these blasts if your timing is good, and also if the camera decides to cooperate with you. Neither of which are guaranteed. Also, hello, Margot. It's good to see you here. Generally, you'll want to strike Darkseid's hands in order to damage it. Looks like it's going for its plunging attack again. Just gained 12 experience points. No, 8. I'm sorry. I can't count. So yeah, defeating the little shadows not only gets you a little extra experience, but will drop the HP balls, which you can use to heal yourself. Uh-oh, looks like he's raging, alright. Yo, bring your hands down here where I can slap them. Very rude of you to hold your damage points outside of my reach. Come on, we don't have all day. Got things to do, man. And Sora's defense went up, and Darkseid is gone. By the way, it should be noted that even if you run out of HP during this fight, the story will progress, but you will not get the opportunity for a lot of experience, so take that for what you will. No, I'm plenty afraid right now. It's not really my choice.